Well, hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to my little gardening show. Finally, we've got a good day to work in the garden. Rained most of yesterday, so we couldn't really get a whole lot done. It was like in the upper 40s, low 50s. Not good weather to be outside, really. But we finally got the fencing project done, so I want to show you our new fence for this year. All right, so there it is. When it's all said and done, the garden's about 50 foot wide. Actually 52 feet wide, 53 foot, somewhere in there. I haven't exactly measured. I just know we went past where like a 48 foot mark was by about 4 feet. And it's about 50 foot long. So I ended up, we took down all that dilapidated fencing that's still behind me in a big pile here. We gotta get rid of that. And we went with this galvanized fencing. I think it'll do pretty well. Center post, we got everything zip tied again with the UV resistant ties just to get this up. Should do fine. We've left about 25 foot exposed here and 25 foot on the other end. We're talking about what to do here. We're thinking about maybe doing some kind of perennial, maybe like strawberries. Since those are doing so well, maybe doing a little strawberry patch in here. I don't know, we'll figure it out. We've got some turnips that went to seed that overwintered, and then our rhubarb on the other side. But we don't have any entrances built in around any of the other sides. Everything is accessed from the front here. We've got 2 6-foot gates. These came in kits where you could adjust it and make it exactly what you want. So we left it 6 foot and a 6 foot down there, and then we got a 12-foot entrance here that we more than likely won't be entering this part of the garden very much. We can just got to take this post out and remove these bungee straps, and this whole thing will lift out. For these, we've got them overlapped a little bit, so it's not a true 6-foot entrance. It's more like 4 foot. We wanted some built in some redundancy here, so that way if critters do make it past, they're going to run into fence on the other side. Same on over here. I removed a little section of fencing here so we can clamp this down. All right, this will be handy here because in the fall we can take this down, and there's should be a wide enough entrance that our little, the county can get in with the dump truck to drop off leaves. And then we've got an entrance down here by the tomatoes. Same thing, we kind of overlapped it. We've got it to where this is going to open and then close up against this. There's about a foot, 9 inches overlapped here, and about foot and a half on this side, to address all the gaps. These are cemented in with about 50 pounds of concrete on each post. And we got plenty of room here. And then we got this section here. So my sister, we may do some like flowers. We may do corn because they're going to do beans over here this year. We'll see what we want to do. So the next step is we need to finish weeding the garden. We did some weeding a couple days ago, 2 days ago. We still got a patch here. And then last year we put down some fabric that seemed to work well to keep the weeds down, and then we planted tomatoes in here and then trellised them up and then ran like ropes to just hold them against the fence and twine down from the tops. We may redo that yet. We got probably about $200 invested in this project. Dad's probably got about $100 invested in the gates that he bought, and then I don't know, actually probably more like 250, because I've got about close to $150 invested on the fencing. We had the posts, we didn't have to buy any of those. We had some zip ties. I had to buy a few zip ties, but other than that, that was about it. But I think worth it. Should keep the critters at bay. We'll go around again, address the gaps, the low line areas. We'll have to address that. And then once we do some weeding, we need to lay out the beds and then get some stuff planted in here. We've been really delayed this year. This is probably the latest I've planted a garden in terms of, like, I don't have anything in the ground yet. So that's a little disappointing, but it is what it is in terms of the season. So we're going to go ahead and take care of that. My daughter's coming down because it's time to go. But you ready to go?
I think we need to go.
Yeah, I need to go. My son he needs a spanking, probably. I don't know. I need to deal with him. He's been unruly. So I just need to spend some time with him, sit on him a little bit. All right, I guess that's it for now. Till next time, happy gardening. Bye. Well, hey, good morning. Welcome back to my little gardening show. Took the day off work. We're gonna get some of the garden planted today, all our cold weather stuff. So we got division of labor going on, kind of like last year. Let's check them out here. All right, so we've got our beds cultivated. I set the tiller at a 3-inch depth, so we're getting the surface broken up for planting. Got my two daughters, Emma and Ruth. We're planting. What are we planting, guys?
Cold weather sprouts.
Yeah, Brussels sprouts. We're offsetting the rows. We're gonna have a double row, 6 inches apart. You know, this way, like staggered, and they're gonna be about a foot apart. Here, come around this way, honey bun. You're doing great, bud.
I think I'm supposed to put right here.
I'm gonna get a tape measure out so you know for sure. But we're gonna go down double row. I took the broad fork and loosened this up, but Bud's kind of stomping it back down, so we're gonna have to modify what he's doing. We're gonna plant these down, so on and so forth. I'm gonna try to get the potatoes, cold weather stuff, onion sets. We got a lot of stuff to plant today. We got a couple hours. I think we can get it done. All right, we've been out here a couple hours now, and got some cold weather stuff planted. Now we're planting onions. I've got this Mittleider template. I think they're 6 inches apart on one side, maybe 7 on the other, or 9. I forget what the spacing is exactly. I think it's 6 and 7. But we just went down the row, stepped on it, wiggled it around, lifted it straight out, and it makes perfect holes for these onion plants that the kids are planting. So we'll get them set, and then we'll water these in. We're supposed to get rain the next couple days, so they should take off pretty nicely. We got this row we're gonna do. We're doing yellows here. We probably got enough onions to do 2 double rows, huh? Okay. We'll do another double row then. All right, well, we just had lunch about 30 minutes ago. Got all our onions planted. A couple double rows of greens and stuff, and we're working on getting this dug out. We're using a post hole digger to get deeper holes because the root balls on these plants are pretty big. I want to make sure they're set in there really good, so we're offsetting some holes here. That might be a little too close, Emma. That's all right. Oh well. We ran the tiller through at about 3 inches of depth to break up the soil a little bit, and then using the post hole digger to dig our holes for the plants. Got a little bit of a process. Got some kids over there getting plants. We got a bunch of seed potatoes left over, or potatoes left over from last year have gone to seed, so we're going to use those to plant up these rows, and then we may be done for the time that we have. We'll see. We may try to get a row of lettuce planted before we leave. So overall, pretty good progress in the garden. Just glad that we're finally getting some stuff done, and see how things go. What you got there, baby doll?
Potato!
Taters? You guys doing taters?
Taters!
Loving it.
Daddy, they're
So we're back at the garden. We got our greens out yesterday, and they did pretty decent. Some of them got a little sun scald. They've been kind of a little wind whipped today. But now we're planting potatoes. I broke up the ground with the tiller, and used my little Haas tool with the plowshares there to plow out the furrows. Then we took our ag lime, amended the beds so they've got a calcium source. And now the kids are going through picking out the best sprouts and filling the rows. We're doing how many rows? 5?
Yeah. 5 rows.
5 rows of potatoes. They're spacing them about 9-10 inches apart. Trying to pick the best ones. Kind of worked out pretty good. We had plenty of seed potatoes left over. Our potatoes from this past year that we didn't eat that sprouted. So that's good.
We need more red
We
potatoes.
still got another box over there, guys. You could grab that.
I want lots of red.
So it'll be interesting to see how things go. Once you get that down, we're going to close these furrows up, and then I'm going to put the Mittleider mineral mix in the ground. Our little feed there that we got mixed up. Should work out pretty good. We've been playing around with the Mittleider method for the last 3 years or so. Maybe 4. I think this is our 4th year. Yeah, that looks good, bud. Look at that. Anyway, you know, it's not like true organic. You're using minerals, natural minerals. But it's a good way to supplement the soil, supplement the plants, and make sure they've got all the essential nutrients they need. And plus, they've got access to everything that's in the soil as well. And overall, we've had pretty good success doing it that way. Hey, bud, watch the onions. I'll show you what else we've been doing here. So we got our onion sets in as well. They're looking just a little rough because we were delayed by about a week and a half, 2 weeks from when I got them. Now last year it was like 3 weeks, so next year I'll have to order them even later. But got those planted, used our little template to stamp out the holes. It worked out really well. Everything's we went ahead and fertilized today, put down a little bit of Mittleider around each plant, some Epsom salt. And there's Grandpa.
Hello, hello. Looks like you're getting more planting done.
Yeah,
The potatoes?
we're getting it done, yeah.
Great, great.
So try to get everything going. Things look a little wind whipped just a
Yeah.
little bit, but I think they'll be all right.
I watered once this morning.
We just put some fertilizer down on them, so if it rains, we should be good on that.
Sure. Everything's looking good.
All right, child. So now we've got all the potatoes established here. What we're going to do is close them in by raking the dirt. We could try using the Haas tool if you want, but there's a lot of material here.
Yeah, I would just stick with the plastic.
Stick with that. So here, you film this. Ready? Watch your fingers on that. We're just going to go down both sides.
You got it fine?
Yeah,
Yep,
one.
it's lined.
This is a potato hoe.
So what's the difference between a potato hoe and a regular hoe?
It's bigger, and you see the holes there, allows the dirt to pass through.
Actually, it's a concrete hole.
Is it a concrete hoe?
It's for mixing concrete, and that allows the concrete to go through the holes. You don't have to mix it.
Oh, okay.
And it was Jen's first husband that bought me that diversity in there.
So it's a concrete hoe. We'll have to remember that.
Yeah. Smell it.
We've got it mounded up. You see that? It's all closed now.
Pretty
and
good
then
and pretty
later in the
fast.
season, we'll run the hoe to heal it up as they're growing a little bit.
That really helps.
And it gives more space between the rows.
I'm glad that you were leaving just a little space here too.
Yeah.
Let's get the lawnmower.
Yeah. And the wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite type of potato?
Ooh. I like the Yukon Gold. They're creamy.
I like those and the just plain Idaho potatoes. Because the Idaho ones make good baked potatoes.
that good?
Yep, the second row is done.
5 rows of potatoes.
Yep. 5 rows of potatoes.
Yeah,
I know.
I lowered that top end.
Don't smack me with a
That
hoe.
thing closer to the ground just a little bit.
Okay. Well, that's good. How'd tutoring go?
Oh, good. He's done well, but he really sit down and chewy the plants. I think that's too far.
That's pretty good job. Alright, we're going to try to get some green beans planted, but in the meantime I got Sis here. She's removing the flower stalks off the rhubarb so the rhubarb will focus its energy on the rhubarb and not on producing seeds. Unlike last year where the whole thing got butchered, I've got her just removing the seed stalks. Should work out pretty good. She's got a little hand sigh she's cutting them off with. It's working out really well. Good job, child. Child, what are you doing? Alright, so making a lot of progress. We got our lettuce planted, and now we're getting ready to do the green beans. Let me show you that. So again, I went ahead and tilled this up. We got 6 beds. And basically I'm going to try, if I've got enough green bean seed, we're going to do 3 rows of green beans, maybe 4. Probably just 3 per bed. And that seems to work out pretty well. Now I got the J2 seed this year. This year I got it from a different company. We got it from Johnny's last year, and the seed had a really poor germination rate, and we ended up having to replant. So, where do we get this from? Territorial Seed Company. Well, the plate might be on it.
Is that it right there?
What does it say? Does it say beans on it? Okay. Alright, so we got the Earthway Garden Seeder. It says small peas. That probably worked for beans. We'll try it out. We'll load the hopper. I need to adjust the depth as well. Alright, so we just ran the Earthway Seeder through. I've got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 rows basically of green beans planted. They're about 20-foot rows. Kids are going through and burning them because I didn't set the depth on this deep enough, which is fine. This last bed here is going to be radishes. So we're going to plant a row of that here shortly. Yeah, getting it done. Alright, so we're pretty much done here tonight. We got the kids cleaning off the tiller.
Daddy!
Hey,
Shirking.
you need to clean the blades, bud. Did you do that?
Slave labor.
Yeah.
Again.
Got a lot done. Taking advantage of more of this space here. Got things grouped together a little closer this year. We don't have any kind of dead space this year. It's looking real good. Yeah. Child.
Buddy.
Alright, so we're going to call it a night here.
Yes,
We'll,
finally.
Until next time, happy gardening. Bye.